All right, guys, welcome to the Destiny United team call. It is August 15th. We are halfway through the month of August. The kids are getting back to school. I'm excited to get a routine going, and I think everybody else is excited to get a routine going as well. Who's with me? Like, who's ready to get everything back into order? Yes. All right, let me share our screen. We have some recognition. All right, there we go, you guys. All right, August 15th, halfway through the month. You guys are doing an amazing job for being halfway through the month. I know personally for myself, I don't just get my Success Club points in the beginning of the month. I get them in the middle of the month. I get them when I'm really launching my challenge groups. If you haven't listened to that video yet in Destiny United, go listen to how I personally launch my challenge group. If you guys are talking a little bit about challenge groups here and there, inviting here and there, posting about it here and there, people don't pick up on that. You really need to take a few days and really focus on those days about launching your challenge groups. And during those 5 days is when I have the majority of my people sign up. So if you are new on the team, anybody that has 2 points next to their name, it means that they helped one person get started with a challenge pack. So on the board with the Success Club is Kathy Braxton, Michelle, Olivia, Alex, Cassandra, Amanda, Jamie, Lynn, Colleen, Ashley, and Jennifer Zurin. So congratulations, you guys. And Kaylee Pinto too. Patty Spitzer is on the board with 4. Ashley Woodsick is 6. Myself 6, and Megan Broski 8. So amazing job, you guys. I cannot wait to see what you guys are going to be pulling out the rest of the month, especially when you are launching your challenge groups, when you're really focusing on them for those 5 days. So Top Success Club goes to Megan this week. Congratulations, Megan. She's on the call. Team Builder is Ashley Woodsick. Whoop, whoop. Girlfriend is a brand new coach, so close to Diamond. She's really gunning for the retreat. I'm so proud of her. And Top Coach of the Week, Ashley. I had to give it to Ashley, you guys, because she has so much going on in her life. And I just told her this the other day, how proud I am that she is staying so focused on her business and on her goals. She just did a coach sneak peek on her own. She just took the reins and said, I know what needs to get done in order to build my business. And she did it. And she's leading Ashley Woodsick to Diamond to get her onto the retreat and build her business and change her life. She's taking control. She's taking ownership of her business. And I'm so freaking proud of her. So she is Top Coach of the Week. So congratulations, Ashley. I'm so proud of you. All right, you guys. So for tonight's team call, we have Amanda Steele. She's going to be coming on and sharing with us how she runs her business, how she works full-time and runs her business. I have been so amazed by Amanda and just watching her growth over the past, I would say past year. She just keeps growing, and she, especially social media, girlfriend, I'm really seeing a change with your social media and how you're growing as a person and how you're sharing it. And she just doesn't she doesn't stink Beachbody. She doesn't smell of Beachbody. She doesn't take her whole entire social media and make it all about Beachbody. She is actually sharing herself and sharing her struggles and sharing her story. And I just absolutely love seeing her grow and lead her team. So she's going to be sharing with us tonight. Amanda. Hey, girlfriend.
Hi, guys. Hi. Thanks for having me. I think this is great timing because I just went back to work and it's crazy. So if you don't know me or what I do, I work for our local Head Start. I'm a manager, so I'm supervising staff. I'm training. I'm working 8 hours a day, and sometimes, the job is really slow. But right now it's crazy. It's the beginning of the preschool year, and it's nuts. And we're training new staff, and it's crazy. Um, I do get 6 weeks off in the summer now because it's attached to uh, school schedule. Sorry, my brain is fried, so I'm gonna do what I can here, um, which is fantastic. For the other 3 years that I've been running this business, or 2.5, I guess, before, or three, whatever. Before that, I always worked 37.5 hours as a coordinator for intellectual disabilities. So I've always been working full time. I've always been doing this business working. I started it while I was planning a wedding. So I've always been busy, and I've always, I have just recently sort of figured out how to do this. And I actually was talking about a post that I'm going to post later tonight, that when I first started, I was working full time, and I really only put in a few hours a month doing this, to be honest, just to be able to get 3 people so I could cover my Shakeology costs. I was busy. And so if you only are aiming to help 3 people a month, you can do it in a few hours a month. I did it. But what I do now, because I have bigger goals, and I have an actual vision, and I'm trying to be serious about this, is I set business hours. And I'm very clear with my husband about, so a little bit more background is I don't have kids. I am married, but I don't have kids, and that makes it a little bit easier for me to say, like, this is what I'm going to do when I'm going to do it. But I do have, somebody else that I need to pay attention to. And so we've had arguments about this, and what I ended up doing is we have a shared calendar. And I actually live by my calendar. So I'm going to share my screen and show you what my calendar looks like so you can see it. Everything that's red on here, well, first of all, everything that's green, it was like my prompts throughout the entire time that I was working this business full time in the summer. And when I'm telling you that I need prompts to do things or I won't stay on track, I'm not kidding. So this was my schedule. I literally had make breakfast and shower and stuff on there so that I would stay on track. And so that I wouldn't waste my time, and all of a sudden it was 8 hours later and I didn't do all the things that I said that I would do. And there were days when that did happen, but this really helped. But now what I do is I have my coach hours on there, and anything that's red, Glenn can see. Anything that's red means that both of us want each other to know what's going on. It's on both of our schedules. It's on both of our calendars, or we in some way want it to be communicated to each other that we are either out of commission that day, we have something else on the calendar that day, so we can't be scheduling other things. And this also really helps me we also have our dinners on there, so we know what's for dinner. And so the person who is at home can start dinner while the other one isn't here. So if that's a tip that you need for meal planning and meal prep, take that along. That's just a side note. Anyway, this also really helps because if I'm not focused during my business hours, or if I'm, if he wants to do something, I can say, I'm working right now. And sometimes you just really have to say, like, this is my time when I'm working. And it took me really a long time to know how to say that I'm working right now, because this doesn't feel like a job sometimes when you're working 8 hours and then you're coming home, and it's also fun. But you have to treat this like a job, and you have to treat it like a job, especially to everybody else and your family. And if you need to, then go ahead and share your vision for what you want out of this and include them in it. That's really important to let them know that you're not just doing this, for yourself, that most likely if you have a family, you're doing it for the family too. Sorry, I just stopped sharing. Okay. So that's pretty much it. And the rest of the time I have a lot of questions. So I have them all down here and hopefully. Okay. So some other things that I just want to remind you of is how I run my business is doesn't need to be exactly how you run yours. That's the beauty of this business is it's each our own. Mine isn't the same as Amy's. It's not the same as Jenna's. It's not the same as Ashley's. And yours isn't going to be the same as anybody else's either. That's the beauty of this business. We get to decide what it looks like. And so don't be afraid to take something from this person and take something from this person and figure it out on your own and come up with your own style, because there's no wrong way to do this. There's no right way to do it. So do whatever feels best for you. And it might take a lot of trial and error, but just keep going. And somebody asked, so that sort of shows, I was showing you my calendar because not every day is the same. I don't put the same amount of hours in every day. It's generally 6 to 8 most nights, most weeknights from Monday to Thursday. Then I usually do at least some follow-ups on Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday is a toss-up. Now this weekend, I'm behind on my goals for this month, like really by a lot. I basically took the first half of this month off because I was busy doing stuff. And I also beat myself up over the fact that I wasn't consistently doing the things that I knew that I should have been doing because I went to a local music festival, but that was also like a vacation to me. And Heather sort of talked me through this, that we do also need to take vacations from this business too, because this is a blessing for us and it should never become a burden. And if it's a source of stress, it's also I never want this to be a source of stress for me or any of my personally sponsored coaches. Like that is one thing that I'm serious about. So do not burn yourself out with this business, because that's not what it's supposed to be. Do not let it be a burden. If it is, take time off. Like seriously, you guys. So I did that last week, and yes, I'm a little bit behind, but also I'm not going to let that stop me. I'm actually using it as momentum, and I'm just getting back into a routine. I'm getting back into what I know works, and that's just setting aside these 2 to 3 hours 4 nights a week plus whatever extra. That's pretty much what I'm committed to. That's obviously not including my workout and stuff like that. That's a given. I mean, that's a thing that I do as soon as I wake up. So that's really sort of my daily schedule isn't the same. I don't work just on the weekends. That was one of the questions. If I do have time on the weekends, I do spend time on the weekends. I'll schedule challenge group posts. I try to invite at least every day. If I'm not inviting new people, I'm following up. There's always conversations going on. Always. Like my message box is constantly overloaded between questions from challengers, coaches, and messages back from people either giving me excuses or saying that they're interested. It's a never-ending flow, and you guys, as long as you keep pumping the well, you will keep having people in that inbox, okay? But you're not going to have a full inbox if you're not sending invites. And so that is the one thing that I do every day, whether it's 5 or 30 or more than that, if I can. It really just depends. And this is basically my Bible. So if you don't use this thing, you're like, that's the other thing. Whenever I sit down, I know I have 2 hours to finish whatever is on that tracker. I know I need to send it to my accountability thread by 8 o'clock because that's when my alarm goes off to remind me to send it there. And I send it there, whether or not it's full or whether or not it's completely complete. Some days it's not. Some days, a lot of the days it actually is. And a lot of the times I'm doing it all automatically, because the more you do that tracker, the more like you just do it without thinking. It becomes like your workouts. You just wake up and you do it, or you just go to work and you know that you're going to come home and do it, at least for me. So that's like the biggest piece of advice, that this is the thing. So setting those hours and knowing what you have to work with, and knowing that you have these things that you need to do. That checklist has been absolutely priceless to me. And so if you're not using that business tracker, please start. And if you need accountability, we have a thread going, and that's a huge, amazing, like, piece of advice. Okay. Other questions? How do you juggle both? I mean, hopefully I answered that, but I think I juggle both by having an organized schedule, and having good communication with people about when I can do things and when I can't. There are times when people ask me to do things on a Thursday night, and I say no. Like, I'm busy then, because I know I have team calls and I have invites to send out. I just say no. When do you work the business? Most of the time it is during these hours that I set aside in the evening. You find for your husband in the business, I set hours and then I stick. And if I'm not, I tell him, you can call me out and say that you said you were supposed to be done by now. So finish up and stick to your word, because people will know when you're not sticking to your word, and then they're going to get mad at you. So don't be scrolling when it's your business hours. Stick to your list, and just do the work, because the sooner it gets done, the sooner you can go hang out with your kids and your husband, or whoever it is, that whatever you need to do. What do you put on your stories if you can't be on all day? Now that's a huge switch that I actually just went through, because I was used to being able to talk on my stories all day. Like, it was almost to the point where I was storying so much because that's all I had to do. And it's like almost annoying when I was doing that over the summer, I feel like. Just share the basics. I share mostly what I'm eating, and that's honestly what people want to see from me. They have told me that it's almost a pain when I share stuff, because people will ask me for a recipe and I usually don't have one, because I just wing almost everything. So I'm sorry if you ask me for a recipe, but it drives me insane because 90% of the time it's from Fixate, and then I have to like take a picture or whatever, or I have to tell them like, I made it up because like I know how to use containers and wing it now. So then I have to like tell them how I did it. Anyway, know what your people want to see. They want to see your real life. They want to see you consistent in your workouts. Don't get me wrong. If they're interested in the business, they want to see you working the business or talking about the business or those things. So, I mean, I just talk when I have time. Or I snap a photo and write on it, and that's what I do when I have little pockets of time at work. It's mostly just showing them what I'm eating, because I really don't have time to do anything else. I can't sit there and talk to them. That's really what I do whenever I'm working, is just show them what my day is like and show them what I'm eating. How do you work all at once or in pockets? I never guaranteed time at work. Even during my lunch break, I'm eating, and then I might be checking social media, but I try not to answer or open messages because I forget to respond to them. Honestly, the things that I will do while I'm at work is answer text messages from like customers or coaches. Mostly it's just my coaches who can text me. I'll text them back all day as long as I have time. And I mean, I try not to open my messages or do anything like that at work, because I can be interrupted at any minute because I have staff coming in and out of my door. So it just doesn't work for me. And I don't like to not be focused while I'm answering those messages. So I really, really keep that very limited unless I know there's no staff there and I know I'm not going to be distracted. I really just schedule my business time for the evening when I can focus. So that sort of answers how do you respond to messages. I don't. I can't. So I used to try to do that and it would drive me crazy. And how do you stay organized with who you talk to? I don't know if you would consider this organized, but I write it all down. This is how I track. This is how I know how many invites I've sent every day. And then I just keep all of this in a binder or a notebook. And I can always go back and say, oh, I haven't followed up with that person in a while. And so then I'll send them a follow-up message, or I'll just check in with them and see how they're doing. And I'll circle people if they tell me that they're interested or want more information. I'll circle their names so I know that they're definitely somebody to follow up with. If they don't respond, I just kind of like leave it as it is. If they really tell me they're interested and I have a highlighter, then I'll highlight them. Like, it's not a very fancy system. I do not use an app to track. I've tried Teamsy, I've tried spreadsheets, I've tried it all. This is really the only, I wouldn't call it organized, but it does give me data on how many invites I'm sending out. And that to me is what matters most, because a lot of the times, if you look at all these, if you look at all of these notebook papers, they have the same names on them because it's the same people who are following my stuff. It's the same people who I'm following up with like every month. And it's really funny because I'll look back 6 months ago and I'm like, oh, that person just bought her challenge pack, or that person just signed up as a coach. And it's, you just like, those people you're talking to today aren't going to join. They're not going to join today. I mean, if they do, it's very unlikely. Keep following up. And in 6 months or 3 months or a year or 2 years, they'll join you. Stick on them. Don't forget about them. And yeah, that's it. Are there any other questions? How do you add to your network? So because it's, I mostly do most of my business from Instagram. I would say 90% of it I'm doing it on Instagram. And I go through and I add from hashtags. I go through and I add from friends of friends, or follow people who are following me. The one thing that I do that really has helped my retention of people who continue to follow me is I always do an introductory message as soon as they follow me back. It's something simple like, hey, thanks for following me. I'm not sure how I found your page, but you look really awesome. If they have beer in common, I'll say like, we probably were connected because of beer. And they, if they follow me back and they get that message, they almost always respond. So that's one thing. If you're not doing that, please start doing that. That's really important. People like to know that you're not just there to spam them with Beachbody or invite them right off the bat. That has been a game changer for me. So I just add through hashtags on Instagram. I add through, I just add through other people mostly. And I don't really, hold on one second, Ashley. I don't really like aim for a certain number every day. I just try to do like at least 5, at least 5 a day. If I don't track that. I don't track how many people I add. I just know that because of the Success Club system tracker, I'm trying to add people every day, and that's how I do it. Okay, Ashley Belbeck.
I need to get better on Instagram. When you are messaging new followers, is it always like you go to the little heart? That sounds so ridiculous. You go to the little heart and you look at the notifications, and that's how you know if someone new is following you?
Yeah. Yes. Sometimes. So I will go to, so that let me see what you're looking at. Yes. The heart, and then it'll tell you so-and-so started following you.
Yeah. I feel like I'm always losing people by doing that.
So if they're blue, I don't send them a message because it means I didn't follow them first. If they're white and they're just showing up, it means I followed them first and they followed me back. And that's when I know that I need to send them an intro message because I followed them first and they're just following me back. So yeah, see, here's one I didn't message her back. But
I send one if they
coach or something.
If I follow them, I still send one.
If you weren't following them first, I usually check to see. Like I'll check to see if it's somebody that I want to follow back. But if it's another coach and I don't vibe with them,
oh well, yeah.
Like if they're another coach, if they're another coach and I know it and I'm like, oh, this girl is awesome, I'll send her a message and be like, wow, we're the same person. And I'll actually follow them back. So it depends on the person. I'll usually go and see like who they are, what they're doing, whatever, and decide whether or not I would do want to follow them back, I guess.
So Instagram newbie here. This girl said started following you and it's in white. So what does that mean? I followed her
It means you're following her too.
Okay. And then the
She
one
started-
in blue, I'm not following her and it's asking me to follow her and she said, I get it. I just learned
Right.
something.
Like I was having a program send out intro messages, which I think it's not near like close enough to being personalized enough. Like I think I'm just going to keep going. Like I think I'm going to switch over to what you're saying is just go to each individual person. But I feel like I was losing them, like because of it shows all of the likes your post, like your post, and like I felt like I was losing the new people.
You can go to your followers too and see the new people. Like,
Yeah.
click on-
Yeah, that was something I was going to say. Thanks, Ashley. Yeah, you can go to your followers and you can see like the new people that recently started following you, and you can see if you're following them back from that too.
So are they always at the top? I guess that was my question.
It's in order.
Yeah, so those people at the very top are the most recent.
So that's what I do is if I miss them in my like recent feed, because if you don't check it in a certain amount of time, then I'll go back and I'll catch up to people who I might have missed, because I like to send that within like the first 24 hours because I want them to know like, hey, I'm a real person and I just want to say hi to you. There are some times when I miss people and then I feel stupid sending a message because like I miss them. I feel like that's something you got to do pretty
That's really good to know. It's so silly that I didn't know that, but now I know who to go in and like connect with also on their timeline. So the other thing I wanted to say to you, Amanda, is you talked about, I just need to mention this. You talked about the fact that you took off the first half of the month. You said you took off. Well, I just want to reiterate the fact that you really did not take off.
I mean, I didn't.
Like,
in my mind, I did. Yeah.
In your mind, you did because you weren't putting set hours into it as much as you would like to have, maybe. But you showed up on social media like a boss. Like taking off means not the same thing. It doesn't mean step away and do nothing. For you, you took off with certain pieces of it, but you were still showing up on social media. And I feel like that is so important to point out, because if I heard someone say you're taking off, that to me I'd be like, oh, okay, so she stepped away, that's pretty cool. But no, you're a business owner and you did an awesome job by taking off without truly stepping away. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So good job. Kudos to you. I'm very proud of you.
And I don't think she missed a workout either.
Never.
Yeah.
No. So I just want to point out maybe taking off means like not actively launching something at the moment or actively starting something new, but you were still showing up with most of your daily vitals every single day.
I mean, yeah, it was. I was missing the IPAs, which in my mind means I was taking it off. I just wasn't working at the same caliber that I was. And it was like having a steam train going full blast and then like slamming it on the brakes. And that's exactly what happened for me from the end of July into the first 10 days of August, or 11, I guess. And so that like, it was a shock to my system because I was used to just doing this, and that's good. Like, but it's also, I needed to be okay with the fact that things aren't going to completely crumble if you're not checking every single box every single day. Especially if you're doing most of them. I had to have this, like, it's okay, you don't have to do it all. Sort of
So
thing.
that leads me to a question. So say you're having a super busy day and you cannot check off all these boxes on your Success Club. It's just like your tracker. It's just not possible. What are the top 3 things that are like non-negotiable that you will definitely do every single day on your tracker, no matter what?
My workout. Well, I'm counting my workout and my shake as one. my contribute to your challenge group. That's another, because those two go together really. And stories. I mean, those are three things that I do them, like, it is such a part of me. It is like me taking this breath and speaking this word right now. Like, that's just who I am. That's never going to stop unless somebody tells me you're not allowed to work out. And then I'm still going to be eating healthy, and I'm still going to be having the shake, and I'm still going to be storying. I'm still going to be in my challenge group. Those are things that will always happen for me. Vacation or not. So those things are going to always happen. And I think people seeing me take a little bit of a step back, or not being so present on social media and actually living for those 10 days, and also being vulnerable in the moment, saying like, I'm not perfect, and all of that sort of stuff. It actually helped, because when I'm talking to them now and finally getting back to their messages, I can say like, I'm sorry, I've been busy, and they can go look at my timeline and see that, and everything matches up. And that really paints a picture of authenticity that people, they can tell. Don't try to be perfect, and don't try to fake it that you can do it all. People can see, one, they can see through it, and two, like, they're not going to trust you to be their coach if you're trying to fake it through it. Just don't do it. I think that's like one of the biggest things that I've, relearned in the last couple weeks. You always have a story to tell, whether it's like in the moment or like old stories. One of the biggest things that I took away from Summit is like, just tell your story. And I've been like really digging in and telling stories lately. So tell that, because people relate to that too, like a lot more than you just bouncing around and doing Morning Meltdown. But if you can tell a story and relate it to Morning Meltdown, like I have one, so stay tuned. It's coming one of these days. It just means so much more. So take the time on your post too. Don't feel like you need to post just a post. Like, really just take time and do one really good post. I do 2 a day, or at least I try to. Take the time and do that one good post, because that's really what matters. So that's one of the other things that one of my like non-negotiables, at least put one good valuable post up there a day, because you can't just also be showing up in your stories. You got to be showing up in your feed too. You need to be in both places. Anyone else? Does anybody feel like they can take something from this to apply? Okay. Good.
Awesome. Nobody has any other questions? How many of you guys work full-time? Yeah? Awesome. How many are full-time mamas? How many people are just freaking busy? We are all so busy. Like, don't use that. Like, that doesn't give you like an escape route for this business. Like, it's not like a superpower. It's not like, we are all busy, you guys. And it's just carving time out of our day and making it a priority, and just keeping it in the front of your mind constantly why you're doing this business. Why are you here? What is it going to create for your future? And then, like, when you picture your perfect future, like, erase it and then like times it by 10. Like, you're not dreaming big enough. And like Ashley told Ashley, this is so weird. Ashley, like, I heard Ashley Witzik said, like, Ashley told me I wasn't dreaming big enough. And I'm just like, I don't think any of us dream big enough in the beginning. Like, we lose that if it's because we're so busy with work or because we're up to our head in like debt, or, you know, we just lose the ability to like dream and think of a future that's like so amazing. So like tonight, when you go lay your head down on a pillow, close your eyes and like take the roof off, take the lid off the cup, take that glass ceiling away, and picture what you really, really, really want your life to look like in 1 year, in 5 years, in 10 years. Where do you want to live? What do you want to be doing? What about your husband? What about your kids? Like, really go to bed and close your eyes and think of that. And when you wake up in the morning and your feet touch the floor, you're going to be like, I know this is possible. Like, game on. I'm going to give this business 100% and really take it to the next level. Guys, we have 5 months left in 2019. How many of you pushed your business forward to where you're so freaking proud that you can't even believe that you're where you're at right now in your business? Some of you? If not, it's okay. Like, we have 5 more months to really laser beam focus and give this everything you got. So take busy and excuse off the table. Take what Amanda taught us and apply it. And like, let's go blow up the rest of 2019 and really make ourselves proud, okay? All right, Ashley Beeman, you want to add anything? This is your call too, girlfriend.
No, I loved everything that you shared, and I wanted to say the same thing Ashley said, because I didn't want people to think that taking off is just like, oh, I'm out of here, because if anything, like, consistency is a superpower. And so even if you're just putting a post up there and showing people that you're still there, sometimes even when you do that, the algorithm sometimes even bumps you back up when you do show up like more, like if you're not showing up as much and then all of a sudden you start. But yeah, I loved everything you shared. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Amanda.
If you, and I mean, obviously, if you think of other questions, just send me a message. Like, I'm here to help you. I'm sure you know that by now.
Let's take a picture quick. Everybody can take a picture, because like my picture skills are awful. And then you get them and you're like, Amy, what in the world is this nonsense? All right, 1, 2, 3. Awesome. So busy is not a superpower. Consistency and your story is your superpower. So get out there and do that stuff. All right, guys, have a good day. Good night. Good night. I'm going to bed.